Good afternoon. Thanks very much for joining us. For those of you that I haven't spoken with before, my name's Rory Munro. I'm one of the NetSuite solution consultants here at Eureka Solutions, and I'm delighted to be presenting for you today our NetSuite 2026.1 release highlights webinar, where we'll be having a look at the kind of top 10 highlights of this release from our perspective. But of course, there are a lot of good things in there. And as an introduction to the session today, I'll give you a bit of an overview of where you can find those and get a bit more information yourself. So as a quick agenda for the session today, we'll do a quick overview, as I've mentioned, in terms of the release and where you can find a lot of information, when you'll be expecting to be upgraded yourselves. If this is your first upgrade, this might be quite helpful for you, but even as a reviser for anyone that's been through them before. We'll then go into our top 10 highlights for this one. Again, we've taken a kind of snapshot of the kind of key ones that we think would be most relevant to the majority of customers. But as we always mentioned, there are a lot of good features in there. So I would always implore you to go and read the document yourself as well and familiarise yourself with the changes. We'll also have an important notice for you today and a spotlight feature. And as always, we'll round off the session with a Q&A, just to answer off anything that you might have from today's session. But of course, if you do want to explore anything further, obviously pending when your upgrade is, then please do get in touch with your account manager and they'll also be able to give you some information. So in terms of our overview, just to let everyone know again, all customers are scheduled to be upgraded between February and April in one phase per month. You will get the exact date of when you're to be upgraded at least 3 weeks in advance, but I'll actually show you a wee snapshot in the next slide of the release portlet that you'll be able to get on your home dashboard. And as the third bullet point mentions there, you can see your exact upgrade date there, as well as some useful information like navigation to the full release notes and the release preview accounts as well. So as mentioned, if you don't have this already, it can be quite a good one to get, and you might even just want to have it sitting on your dashboard, and you can collapse this portlet, and only have it open when it's relevant to you. But at the top right of it there, you will see the release that's coming, and you'll also see your upgrade date there as well. Now, if for any reason you need to postpone your upgrade date, you can do. If you want a little bit extra time for testing in the RP environment, just to make sure that none of your existing processes are impacted, then you're able to do that. Now, on the portlet itself, you'll see a few different columns there with kind of spotlight features, as everyone would expect, and I would imagine, hope and anticipate. There's a lot of AI flavored through this, and I imagine that will be the common theme going forward. You will see towards the bottom left, you have a release preview login. So if you've not used that before, the release preview account is essentially just a copy of your live production account, but with all the new features installed. So you can go about in there, have a play around with it, test any processes you want to make sure that there's no bugs. If there are, of course, get in touch with support and we can make sure that there is a smooth transition. But as usual for most customers, there shouldn't be too much disruption from that. It's been well tested at NetSuite's side. You'll also see on to the right of the release preview login, we have the release notes. So that's where I've gained all the information for today's session. So please have a look around there and familiarize yourself with it. I'll mention in the next slide, but these are all subject to change at the discretion of NetSuite, and the release notes are updated every Monday. So if you have a wee check-in every week, if there's any kind of major updates to it, then they'll be in there every Monday. And again, there's some useful resources, blogs, the RP guide, training resources, and a wee button to contact your Oracle account manager there as well. But by all means, feel free to get in touch with your Eureka account manager, and we will do our best to assist you through the upgrade process. So just as mentioned, if you're an administrator within your account, you can request that release preview account. It is a really nice one, even if you're not too worried about testing your processes. Just familiarize yourself with what's coming ahead of time, and that can be a really good one. And also just that wee disclaimer about the fact that things can change. So just keep a wee eye on those, and we'll make sure that everything's all righty for you. So, without further ado, we'll get into it. I just wanted to mention that in this release, a lot of the enhancements that you'll see are kind of focused on helping finance and operations teams work more efficiently. A bit of emphasis on better visibility, more automation, improved decision making, etc. So today, what I'll do is I'll take you through what we view as the top 10 kind of impactful updates. We'll cover some areas such as tax and compliance, cash visibility, insights that are driven by AI, operational improvements, and we'll also kind of highlight to you where we think these changes will actually bring value to your organization as well. So we'll start with an update that's particularly relevant for finance teams that are dealing with VAT and compliance. This release will include some enhancements to the Suite tax engine that improve tax accuracy and tax, in complex scenarios. So this is only relevant to you if you are actually using Suite tax as opposed to NetSuite legacy tax. What this will allow NetSuite to do is now determine that tax more precisely, including better support for line level location logic and also automatic adjustments when discounts are applied. The effect that we think this will have is it should be a reduction in the need to actually manually override anything and provide corrections as well. It should be accurate from the outset. As we said, like as well as VAT accuracy, it should also reduce things like compliancy risks. It should increase confidence in tax reporting within NetSuite. It should also save time for your finance team that might have to go in and, as we'd mentioned, put through some corrections if the tax engine wasn't working as accurately as it should be. So hopefully just all round a bit of tighter control over tax calculations. Continuing with finance, another area that's been improved is cash visibility, which continues, as we'd expect, to be a major requirement for finance teams. It's something we always get asked about. This release includes several enhancements to cash forecasting. So NetSuite can now include additional transaction types such as billing schedules in that cash forecasting. So that provides a more complete picture of your expected inflows and outflows. You can now forecast aggregation and accuracy, that those have been improved. So that should also help you to make those short and mid-term forecasts a lot more reliable within the system. The result of this enhancement should be a clearer view of your cash position. You should have better planning around payments and working capital. There should be less reliance on spreadsheets or manual adjustments if you're still having to use those kinds of processes, even though you're on NetSuite. And it should help the finance team make more confident day-to-day decisions using that function. So, building on the theme of improving financial planning and control, this release also introduces enhancements to pricing. And I know there'll be a few on the webinar that will be quite glad to see that because it is something that we get asked a lot and can still be done quite manually. So, the cost plus pricing allows NetSuite to automatically calculate sales prices based on the cost of an item and a defined markup against that item as well. So this will allow pricing managers to configure markup percentages. And once these are set, the system will actually apply the pricing automatically across transactions that relate to that. This means that when costs change, prices can adjust themselves consistently without needing your users to go in and provide manual updates or recalculations. So for NetSuite customers, key benefits being, better margin control and more consistent pricing. It reduces manual effort for the finance and commercial teams, lowering the risk of pricing errors and makes pricing strategies easier to scale as the business grows, or maybe your supplier costs are fluctuating as well. For any organizations that are managing large product catalogs or frequent cost changes, this could remove a significant amount of manual work and improve your confidence in pricing decisions. So again, just continuing on the kind of finance wavelength, another area that has been improved in this release is intercompany accounting, which can often be one of the more, should we say, complex parts of your period end process for any organizations that are, of course, multi-entity. So in this release, there will be several enhancements to intercompany eliminations. Finance teams will now have better visibility into elimination entries and can more easily see those underlying source transactions, making it actually a lot easier for you to understand where the balances are coming from and how those eliminations have been calculated as well. So just giving you a bit more assurity in the data accuracy. The audit trail and consolidation tracking have also been strengthened, so this should help the team manage the close process more efficiently. The overall impact is faster period end consolidation, less time spent reconciling balances between your entities, and giving you greater confidence in the accuracy of consolidated financial statements. Building on that theme of improving your close process, the release will also introduce the AI Close Manager dashboard, which is designed to give finance teams better visibility and control over those close activities. Managing the financial close will often involve coordinating tasks across multiple internal teams. This dashboard provides that kind of centralized view of your close activities, giving you real-time visibility of tasks, progress, and also any outstanding actions that need to be completed for that to be finished. The AI-driven insights should help highlight any potential risks, delays, or bottlenecks to the close process, so that those are identified as early as possible, and the effect of those can be mitigated as far as possible as well. So, positive impact for yourself as customers, it should help further accelerate your month-end close. It should improve accountability across the teams, given those kind of actionable insights. It should also reduce the risk of missed deadlines by enabling issues to be identified and resolved more proactively rather than reactively as it may be just now. So ultimately, it'll give your kind of finance team more confidence that the close is progressing as expected ahead of time rather than at the point of it needing to be done. So moving away slightly from the close process and looking more broadly at the overall NetSuite experience, another improvement that we'll see from this release is the global rollout of NetSuite 360. So this is a feature that was available in other regions such as the US, but it's now being rolled out globally. So what this does is brings together several aspects of the customer experience into a single place for you to manage. It's that central hub where users can access things like support cases, view important notifications, manage your billing and subscription details, and also review account information all within the NetSuite interface. So I should mention as well that this is to do with your subscription and any support cases that are with NetSuite directly. Of course, with Eureka, we have our own customer portal which can be used for the likes of support cases, etc. So this gives you a much better interface with NetSuite themselves, and for any tickets that maybe have been escalated by ourselves or directly from you with NetSuite, then you'll have great visibility of those now as well. So a couple of benefits. It should mean for customers faster access to support. You should have clearer visibility of your billing and subscription information, and also real-time updates on important account events as well. It simplifies the day-to-day management of your NetSuite environment by bringing all of this into one location. So these are things that you would have had some level of visibility in before, but now we're bringing it all into that one central location for you. So coming in at number 4, the bank feed connectivity has been strengthened with faster updates, on-demand refresh, and also improved reliability. NetSuite now supports faster bank feed update frequency and also gives you the ability to refresh open banking data on demand. So this should give finance the ability to kind of override this. You're not then going to be waiting on those scheduled imports to see the latest transactions. You'll have a bit more autonomy to push those through as you require them. We're being told that the reliability has also been approved and that more data can be included to support forecasting and reconciliation as well. So for our customers, what we think this means is more up-to-date view of cash balances, less manual effort when reconciling transactions, and a greater confidence when making those day-to-day financial decisions. So having more time, having more timely bank data will help your finance teams stay on top of that cash position and respond more quickly when issues arise as well. Another notable mention, which isn't on the actual slides today, is the financial exception management portal. So that wasn't actually rolled out as part of this release. I think it was during a planned maintenance or an extra sort of release. So that kind of gives you also good sort of insights into any anomalies in your financial transactions, anything that's normally expected to be posted, to a specific account, or a payment that's usually due at a certain time but hasn't been received. So if you want any more information on that as well, then let us know, and your account manager can give you a bit more information on that as well. Okay, so staying on the tangent of that cash visibility, another enhancement in the 2026.1 release focuses on predicting when customers are actually likely to pay their invoices, which can, of course, be a bit of an accounting nightmare for some customers. So NetSuite now will use AI to analyze historical customer payment behavior and estimate when invoices are likely to be paid. These predictions are automatically reflected in forecasting and cash planning tools as well. So the system continues to refine predictions over time as data becomes more available. So it should get better and better as the data grows in your system. For our customers, we think that this should have a pretty positive impact. It should give you more accurate cash flow forecasts, better visibility of expected incoming payments, and the ability to prioritize collections more effectively. It also strengthens short-term liquidity planning by giving finance teams a clearer picture of when cash is actually likely to arrive, rather than just assuming invoices will be paid on that due date, which we all know often doesn't happen. Coming in at number 2, we're shifting now from finance into more operational improvements. So this release also introduces enhanced support for consigned inventory, which is a common requirement for distributors and retailers that we come in contact with. So NetSuite can now track supplier-owned stock separately from owned inventory using dedicated inventory statuses, while still supporting the full life cycle, including your receiving, fulfillment, returns, adjustments, etc. This means that consigned items can be managed within standard inventory processes without the need for workarounds or manual tracking. For customers, we think this will give clearer visibility of consigned stock, more accurate inventory reporting, and better control over consignment life cycle. It also helps reduce the risk of stock misstatements or confusion about ownership, which can be particularly important for any companies that have multi-warehouses or high volume environments as well. So a wee one in there for the ops team. And finally, coming in at number 1, turning from operational improvements back to sort of commercial processes, this release also introduces more flexible rule-based pricing to help you manage your increasingly complex pricing structures. So pricing can often be quite difficult to manage, particularly when businesses have customer-specific pricing, promotions, or maybe even multiple price tiers as well. Price rules will now allow those pricing managers to define conditions. So that could be things like customer, item, or date range. And NetSuite will then automatically apply the correct price level when those conditions are met. This should remove the need to manually adjust pricing or maintain large pricing matrices outside of the system. So in terms of benefits for our customers, I think it should give you more consistent pricing across your transactions, fewer manual errors, and overall better control over your margins, which is critical to the business. It also makes pricing strategies easier to scale as your business scales. Introducing more products should be easier, or adapting to any changing market conditions as well. So that kind of brings us to the end of our top 10 highlights. As you will have seen, we feel this release includes a lot of kind of meaningful improvements, particularly across the finance team, but also operations and commercial processes as well. And really, at the crux of it, it's all kind of aimed at improving visibility, reducing manual effort, and helping teams make more confident decisions, which is really what NetSuite is all about. So we don't end there. That's been our top 10, but we always like to give a spotlight feature, and we do have that important notice as well before our Q&A there as well. So before we finish, I just wanted to highlight one additional feature as a special mention. Um, this is something that we've mentioned before, and the MCP isn't brand new, but it is still quite early in its journey with NetSuite. So I thought it was just good to highlight it, and quite important to show the direction that NetSuite's taking AI in, and not just embedding AI within the system, but also allowing you to connect with alternative solutions as well. So the NetSuite MCP, or AI connector service as it might be referred to, essentially is giving us now a standardized way to connect NetSuite to external AI tools and services. In simple terms, it is a secure integration layer that allows you to interact with your NetSuite in multiple ways. So things like retrieving insights, even automating processes, or enabling AI-assisted workflows. What I think makes it particularly impactful is that it gives customers the flexibility to adopt new AI capabilities as they emerge, rather than being locked up into a single approach. It also helps accelerate innovation by making it more easy to connect best of breed tools and build automation on top of existing processes. So, as I'd mentioned, although NetSuite's doing a lot of really positive things internally within the platform for AI, being able to currently connect up to ChatGPT and Claude AI should also give you a kind of enhanced offering for that. But as we say, this is a secure integration layer, so there's been a lot of thought behind that process and making sure that your data is secure at all times as well. So it should give you a bit of assurance that there are ways to connect to other systems. Again, if you want any more information on that, if it's not something you're currently using, then let us know. Your account manager can even get in touch with myself or one of the other solution consultants, and we'd be happy to give you a quick walkthrough of what that looks like. Okay, so before we finish for our Q&A, and I should have mentioned, if you do have any questions, feel free to pop them into the Q&A chat panel box there, and I'll get round to those in a wee minute. We've mentioned this important notice for Suite Analytic Connect users probably in the last at least two release highlight webinars. So in the last one, we'd have mentioned that from the 2025.1 release that the netsuite.com data source was at end of support. In the 2026.1, being this release, it will be completely removed. So I'm very hopeful that if you are using that this isn't the first time you've heard of this and you've already made the transition to that NetSuite 2.com data source. If you have not and you're on that, please get in touch with your Oracle account manager or your Eureka Solutions account manager as quickly as possible, because you may even want to look at, delaying your upgrade if you need more time to do that. So if that does apply to you and you haven't taken action yet, I would say very important. So please get in touch and we can help you with that. Okay. So thank you very much for your attendance today.